America didn't need a new pope. It needed a reckoning. A reckoning with a theology that made whiteness sacred, that made suffering redemptive, that made silence a virtue. A reckoning with pulpits that preach peace, but only the kind that keeps power in place. A reckoning with churches that prioritize obedience over liberation, order over justice, and shame over truth. So as people began to celebrate a new American pope, whether symbolic or institutional, I wasn't asking what robe is he going to wear. I'm asking what truth he carries. Because we've had enough charisma without courage, enough pastors selling piety without power, and sermons that soothe the privileged but crucify the oppressed. Enough religion that teaches people to suffer quietly, forgive without accountability, to pray while systems feast on their hope and their labor. As a Black queer theologian, as a spiritual disruptor, I'm not looking for another spiritual father. I'm looking for spiritual freedom. For a theology that doesn't ask me to hide, that doesn't twist me into respectability, that doesn't barter my voice for belonging. I want a faith that tells the truth, that honors anger, that validates grief, and that names injustice with clarity, not apology. Because you don't have to be Catholic to know what the Pope represents. No, he's not just a man. He's a symbol, a signal, a mirror of what the world calls holy. So if America is looking to this Pope with hope, I've got questions. Does his theology make space for Blackness that won't assimilate? Does it bless queerness without apology? Does it name empire for what it is? Does it see capitalism as a spiritual right? Does it center the poor, not with pity, but with power? Or is this just more pageantry and preservation? Because what we need now is not a new robe or a new title. We need a truth that moves freely. We need a gospel that liberates. And liberation don't always look like tradition. Sometimes it looks like grief made public. Sometimes it sounds like protest. Sometimes it shows up in a hoodie, in heels, with tattoos, with a name you've never heard of in Scripture. Still speaking, still worthy, still holy. If this new Pope, American, Haitian, global, or otherwise, isn't preaching a gospel that lifts the least of these, then it's not a gospel worth preaching at all. America doesn't need another spiritual monarch. It needs a theology with fire in its bones, one brave enough to burn every idol we've mistaken for God.